The hosts and guests on Everything's Messy podcast are not licensed healthcare professionals. The discussions in our episodes are not personalized medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for medical guidance. Never delay seeking professional medical advice or emergency assistance because of our podcast. We encourage consulting with a healthcare professional before making any significant health changes. By listening to our podcast, you agree to the disclaimer. Thank you for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. Hey, welcome to Everything's Messy podcast, where we celebrate the beautiful but messy life experiences that most, if not all, people go through. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey through the raw and unfiltered stories of everyday people. Here, we dive into messy realities of life, from making messy mistakes to triumphs and everything in between. Are you sensing a theme? That's right, it's messy. But this just isn't about the mess. It's about finding strength and resilience in the midst of it all. We'll explore how health, fitness, and wellness play a crucial role in navigating life's twists and very messy turns. And we'll challenge conventional systems, because sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the greatest discoveries. Join us as we embrace the messy, beautiful, and endlessly fascinating stories. Each episode is a testament to the power of our messy journeys and the beauty that emerges from the mess. So grab your favorite beverage, coffee, sparkling water, whatever it may be, and prepare to be inspired. Are you ready? Let's get messy.
So my lesson was accepting and asking for help.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Because when you have one hand, like I had surgery on Christmas Eve, I had to ask a stranger on the street to zip up my coat one day. As if old Heather would have ever even contemplated asking.
Sure. You would have gone around with just leaving your coat open. Yeah. Well, and I hate that too. You know, we talk a lot about that as well, where asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Now, we don't want people out there helpless, but there is a way, a time where, and most people, not all, but most seem to be eager to want to help with what you need. And that's, I think, again, that connection, that, having to face where, we're not superpowers, right? We're close. We're close.
Well, I am a superpower, but all superpowers have super best friends.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
There's the super best friends.
Yeah.
And one doesn't have to be bigger than the other.
Right. And it shouldn't be seen as weakness. It really shouldn't. And I think, there's that whole, lie that we've been told where women can do it all, have it all, see it all, whatever. And I'm not saying you can't, but it doesn't come without sacrifice, and it doesn't come without beating yourself up in the process, even if you don't mean to, and then thinking that you can achieve it all and then feeling like a failure because you didn't achieve it all. Like, we just have to stop with that messaging, right?
Well, and something just when you said that kind of popped into my head. It was like, we were told for a long time we couldn't do anything.
Right. Right.
And now we're told you can do everything. Is that just another way to control us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's a lie. You're not going to be able to do it, nor should you want to. And I don't think that is weakness either, right? We're designed in a certain way, and that's okay. And that's what we should be embracing. That design should empower us more than, thinking we can do everything when we shouldn't want to.
Right. And it's interesting because I'm just reading and learning about archetypes and how so Carolyn Mace's belief is that you are born with like an archetype that is so you that you don't even recognize it's you. And you might think, I don't want that one, but you can't avoid being that person, which means that you don't have to be everybody else. Be fully you.
Right. And
love being fully you and use that gift of whatever that is that you are, because there's a gift that came with it.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. I love that.
Feel fabulous.
I love that.
So this is something I'm exploring.
I love that. But I think in the messaging, it creates confusion with us, and we don't know what we are or who we are. And then it's like, how do we explore that? How do we find that? Now we have families. Now we have all of the responsibilities and all of these things, when we should have stopped trying to strive to do and be everything and work on just figuring out who we are and strive to be us.
Oh, quit your job, get divorced, sell your house, and go to India.
Go to India.
And when I talk to people, like I tell people, don't do that, because that was my journey. That was my decision. Don't do what I did because it might not work.
Don't light the fuse at both ends.
Right. I had a lady once who, when I first started working massage therapy, she was on the table, she was under the sheet, and we're talking away, and she asked me about something, and I told her that, and she almost jumped right off the table. I'm like, wait, you have no clothes on. Like, she was just so shocked. She was just like, boom, she sat straight up and like, okay, towel, blanket, something.
Well, you don't ever plan when you're going to have that epiphany. So
no, seriously. But it's so interesting. Like I had just this week, an article in Entrepreneur UK magazine, an interview with me was published because it's Mental Health Month right now, right? And it was about like, I feel like one of the biggest problems is actually apathy.
Mm-hmm.
Settling for what you think you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way life is. Oh, I'm just supposed to do this. I'm like, bull.
Mm-hmm.
If I believed that, I'd still be an accountant. Right?
Wow.
And probably have died of a heart attack or a stroke.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just, like, when I see, the thing that makes me crazy is when I see people settling and I can see there is so much more to them, so much more they could do. And I have to be careful not to scare them. Because I've had clients where I've started telling them what I see, and they start like,
they get scared
away.
Yeah, you definitely, it has to be a spoon fed.
I have to dial it back.
Yeah,
they're dial it back.
Very easy spoon fed. I've noticed that too. And you don't want to overwhelm them either, but you're seeing all these things and you're like, hey, the piece goes here and this piece goes here. But they can just take very small amounts of that.
And I get so excited when I can just see so much in someone. I'm like, I can't wait to see this happen. I have to control myself. I just have to light up I'll just open the door a little crack and
right, and because you want to have them see it, right? That's the goal.
Totally.
You want to have
I can't do your push-ups. Sorry.
Yeah. Could you do mine?
No.
Yeah, push-ups. I have been lifting weights now over 3 years since the heart attack, and I can, do the deadlift. I can do Roman squats. I like all the things. A plank I can even hold pretty well, but the push-up movement, it hurts. It really hurts. I can't. And burpees, I won't even
don't do burpees. Okay,
don't do
this is from your massage therapist. Don't do burpees, because what happens, unless you're super rock solid strong, when you go out, you get this snap in your lower back. It's just so not good for you. Don't feel bad. I mean, I've been a personal trainer for like 20 years and I still can't do a push-up. Now, my husband showed me a video on YouTube where this woman taught you how to build up to be able to do the push-up, and it's the legs. You got to squeeze your muscles of your legs. Like I squeeze my thighs together really tight and push through my heels, and it actually makes it easier. Still can't do it, but I'm getting closer.
There you go. There you go.
And I'm not a failure because I can't do a push-up.
No.
Neither are you.
No, because I can deadlift.
Right? I can deadlift. No problem.
That's right. So, okay, we'll talk a little bit about the program that you did create, obviously born in the hospital, and what that sort of, what does that do for people? What do you show?
All babies are born. No, not all babies are born in the hospital, but this one was. So this is where I ask people, and you got to be ready and willing. And this isn't to scare people, because I'm not going to throw you in the deep end and,
see if you sink or swim.
But it's like the only way to get a clear idea of where you are is to look, right? So, and I've broken it into 6 parts to try to help people. Like, you can't break your life into parts, but, we look at your physical health. Like, how are you physically? I'm not asking you to be a runway model. Can you do your activities of daily living? Can you go up the stairs? Do you feel good in your body? Is there something, like sometimes you've got some kind of condition that needs managing. Are you managing it? So we look at the body. It spells the word become, by the way, which I love. Body, emotion. How are you emotionally? Are you mostly happy? Are you what's her name? Complainer, Betty.
Oh, Debbie Downer.
I was like Karen, but Karen is a different personality.
That's a different one.
That's a different personality. My friend Karen is amazing, by the way.
I was going to say no offense to those who are named Karen.
But it's like when something happens to you, do you immediately go to the negative?
Yeah.
You know?
Or that whole, do you see the glass half full or half empty?
Yeah. So how are you emotionally? And being honest with yourself. Like, there's no judgment, but nothing can change unless you know where you are. The C is community, which is your relationships. That can be your close relationships, your work relationships, your acquaintances, your Facebook millions of friends who you have never met, your barista. How are your relationships? And for some people, that's actually a really hard one because they're like, well, I've been friends with that person since high school. I'm like, how do they make you feel? Like crap? Then why are you still friends with them? Do you feel empowered by that person? Do you feel supported by that person? It's reciprocal. It can't all be one direction.
Yeah, just because it's familiar doesn't make it right.
Right. And it's interesting, like I've had friendships that were bipolar and it took me some good time because it took actually one of my friends asking me, why are you friends with that person? For me to go, what do you mean? Because this person that we were talking about, they had super high highs and man, those were fun, but they had super low lows. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. So it's like, do you want to be on that roller coaster with that person? And check yourself that you are not sacrificing yourself to ride that roller coaster with that person.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So that's your relationships. And then your occupation, like we were talking about earlier. Do you feel valued? Do you enjoy it? Do you want to study one more hour?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it something that you're just like, I was in a networking meeting today, and they asked me about personal development, how I worked with personal development. I said, I follow my curiosity. I'm like, this is super interesting. This is because I feel like my curiosity is my like breadcrumbs to something. If I'm curious about it, that something is taking me that direction.
Yeah, that path. You got to explore it.
And don't be scared of it. Your money. We treat money like it's like sex, like we don't talk about it. Oh, let's not talk about that. Oh, that's so rude. I'm like, come on, seriously? When did money become taboo? Although it's funny because I was watching a TV show that takes place in like the 50s, and they said, oh, it's so gauche to talk about money. I'm like, no, it's not. All it is a medium of exchange. You have money so that I can get things I want from people, and I can give them money so they can get things they want and they need. And it's like a circulation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, you certainly don't want to idolize it or become obsessed with it or anything like that. But it is unfortunately of this world, and we have to, have it.
Right. It's interesting. I'm reading a book right now called Love. I'm reading a few books actually right now at the same time, which is what I do. Love Money and Money Loves You. And it talks about money as an energetic entity, not the pieces of paper and things that we accumulate. It's like, it's an energetic entity that allows for the exchange between humans. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So the more you hoard it and keep it, it's like you're letting that energy stagnate instead of, like I bought my husband's birthday's not till September, but I bought something. I'm like, and the FedEx driver got paid, and the person who made this got paid, and
it's definitely a trail. It's kind of the same thing. I like to tell people the same thing, like the pathway of the correct food you're eating, right?
Right.
You don't think about the meat that came packaged very nicely in the grocery store. You don't see the journey now that it's nourishing your body and what it's doing. And unfortunately, there's no way you can spin it. That bag of Oreos is not nourishing you, and it didn't come from a good place, and it didn't sacrifice itself so you could eat it.
Did you see the Portlandia episode where they went to the farm to meet the chicken who they were going to eat? Okay. Sideline. Yeah. It's Portlandia. It's actually very funny.
Okay.
It's a comedy show, but it's sarcastic and hilarious. And then the last letter is another E, and it's engagement. And I think of this as your purpose, which always sounds so follow your passion, blah, blah, blah. I hate cliches. I have this weird aversion to cliches, but they work because people understand them. So
They're
it's like,
memorable. They're
yeah,
memorable.
what is it that you would do and you could never not do in your life? What is the thing that makes you excited? Like, what gives you purpose? It doesn't have to be your job, right? Your occupation and your money and your purpose are not tied together, although we've handcuffed them together in our world. Like we've kind of created this, oh, you have to find, you have to work at the thing that makes you passionate. No, I don't. I just have to work at something that um, I find valuable and I feel like I'm giving value. So,
Well, and it's amazing when they can both be the same thing and you can
oh
make
yeah,
money at the thing that gives you
right.
passion. That's the
Yeah.
goal, right?
And you can have more than one passion.
Sure.
Like I said, like I love when I can see things in people and help them to uncover them. And that is my occupation and that is something that gives me purpose. But I also love painting. And you could never ever tell me to stop painting and doing art. If you told me to stop doing art, I would probably lose my mind. Like, even so, I have a notebook. So I had to decorate the cover of my notebook. I'm like, if there's blank paper somewhere, it's going to have marks on it.
That's your canvas. Yeah. That's
Right. So that for me is a passion and it makes me happy and it doesn't have to serve a purpose. So your and this is another thing in North America. Everything seems to have to serve a purpose.
Well, but I will say that it without you maybe knowing, it sort of serves that purpose as in it either calms you or it gives you good energy or it gives you focus. So somewhere there is a good exchange of something. But no, it doesn't have to be, this is going to make me a millionaire or this is going to be like, that's a different kind. Yeah.
That's a different kind of purpose. I'm thinking of like the purpose where it's what's your return on investment, So those 6 things, we take a look at them like body, and body, emotion, community, occupation, money, engagement. We're like, where are you? How are you? Which is the thing right now that maybe is because they're all interrelated. So the easiest one is like if you're sick, like if you're physically sick or not well, it's going to affect your occupation, whatever you choose to do. It's going to affect your financial health, your money. And if you're not really owning up to it or it's affecting you, it could affect your relationships, could making you feel down, like
your own emotional stability. Right. And yeah.
So they're all interrelated. So usually what we do is we take a really serious look at them. And then we say, okay, there's no judgment. Which one could use a little boost first? Because you can't work on everything. So what will get us our biggest bang for the buck? So if say it is your physical health, you might be looking at your job and your money going, oh, I don't have enough money for retirement. Well, what if we just got your physical health a little bit better? That'll actually help the other ones rise because they're related. And this is actually interesting. I had a client once who she wanted to lose weight. And so we're talking and we're working on strategies and things. And we're like, oh, we need you to change your job. Like our solution was her job.
Which you wouldn't think would be related, but it was. But crazy.
It was. And it was because she wasn't being valued and she was not being treated well. And it was causing behaviors that were causing her to gain weight.
Yeah.
Stress is so like we need stress, but we don't need to be stressed.
Right. And we definitely need to learn better techniques to combat the stress.
So when she changed, she found a new job where she loved the people and she was feeling so good. There she was.
Click on. Wow. Yeah.
But unless you can look at all the parts, like as a whole, like this is why I like, holistic doctors and things. They can see how parts work together.
Yes.
It's like, okay, how does this all work together? Well, what if we do this? And that's the domino that can make everything else kind of fall into place. So that's what we do.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that it, I don't love that you had the stroke, but I love that it came from that.
Right.
And I love that it was able to sort of birth this new, not only that you apply it to yourself, but to the people that you help, that that you see every day. And it really, I think one of the best things that you said today, well, among a lot of things, but one of the best things is taking that self-inventory of yourself and really being honest, because that's not an easy thing to do, right? We sort of had made this persona in our head of what we are, what we think we are. But when we really sit down and become honest, it looks very different on paper than what it is in our head.
Yeah. And sometimes you need someone, like I have a coach who I've been with for quite a while, who knows me. I had a meeting with him this week. He said, Heather, I'm going to say something to you. And I'm going to say this to you because I've known you a long time. And he was just like basically saying to me, if you're not fully engaged with it, you're not going to actually do it. Because I was talking about something I was going to do. And are you really going to do that? I'm like, yes, you're right. If I lose interest, I don't do it.
Yeah.
So
but that's such a huge nugget to know about yourself and to know your patterns and what sets you up. For me, I don't like to say failure, but maybe not accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And
right. Failure is okay. You learn from failure.
I always say we fail forward, because if you're learning from it, you're going forward to the next step and you're learning from it. And so that's important. But yeah, I think the honesty part, and again, sitting down and being at that point where you can be, at least a little self-aware to be able to say, oh yeah, I don't do that really, sheepishly, I don't do that. But, being honest and be like, especially when you're saying no judgment, I think people, most of us, judge ourselves the hardest. Nobody's looking at us the way others are looking at us. And, nor do they have time. They're too busy worried about their own stuff. But we are like, you don't do this, or you don't, like, it's just tenfold. So then it's, I think,
and our expectations of ourselves are here.
Exactly.
And other people is here. It's like,
we hold ourselves to a completely different standard. Yeah.
I did a podcast episode once called Lower Your Bar.
Yeah. Exactly. Right? Yeah. So I love that. So if somebody wants to work with you, where can they find you?
heatherstewart.coach. Easy peasy. It's all there. Yeah.
And your information about your program and everything is there?
Everything is there. And I have a new free membership platform, which is actually at stepuptothrive.com. And I go on there every week and do a live meditation. And so.
Love it. And where do they follow you on social media?
Oh my goodness. Just go to the website, heatherstewart.coach, because I feel like I'm going to go blah, 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 blah.
And I'll put it all in the show notes. But very big, exciting things. Good luck with the new podcast and going live and all of that wonderful stuff. This has been very informative. I always love just the honest connection of just hearing different things and people. And I just really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd hop on over to wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and hit that like, subscribe, or leave a review. And hey, feel free to drop a messy comment too. You can always find me on social media, Instagram at Everything's Messy Wellness, Facebook at Everything's Messy, and X, formerly Twitter, at Everything's Mess. If your email's your thing, reach out at sarah@everythingsmessy.com. Be sure to check out the brand new website at www.everythingsmessywellness.com. If you're ready to take messy action in your life and need a little help, I'd love to connect for a breakthrough session. And if you're living with type 1 diabetes like I am, or caring for someone who is, let's chat. We'll turn messy moments into momentum and keep moving forward. Thanks again for listening to Everything's Messy podcast, and as always, keep it messy.